What's going on, guys? I'm getting a phone call as I start recording, of course. So I have a number. I have two separate numbers actually. I have my regular cell phone number, and then I have a number for my tenants to call me. And so I always know when it's a tenant, but I don't know who is actually calling me. So it's always a little mini heart attack wondering who's calling me. Hopefully my sound is working right now. Hopefully we're actually live. Let's see if you can hear me. Cool. So I want to jump on here real quick and tell you a story. Let's see who actually called me. One of the tenants, I think, just called me. Is it an emergency? Ooh, you know what? It could be an emergency. One of my tenants in my 12 unit just called me. Typically wouldn't call me on a Sunday night, but speaking of the 12 unit, I just wanted to talk about. So I had a little incident recently. Shame on me for being too nice of a guy sometimes. I mean, I like being a nice guy, but so I had this unit come open in the 12 unit, which you guys, I'm sure you're aware of, my 12 unit apartment building. I had a unit come open and I was like super rushed to get it re-rented because I have two of them open at the same time. And so this guy named John decided that he wanted to rent the apartment. I met him, seemed like a super nice guy. And he told me this story. Hey, I just moved here from Kansas City. I know all these people around here local. I'm actually related to a bunch of people here local. He's like, but here's the thing. I just got a job and I haven't got paid yet. So he asked if he could have a break on the deposit and just pay like, oh, I forget if it was like $400, up front. So the apartment rented for $495, and he actually owed $495 for the deposit and then $495 for first month's rent. Well, he's like, hey, can I just move in? I'll give you $400 now to move in, and then I'll catch up on the deposit and I'll catch up on everything else when he gets caught up. And he also, so the utilities over there are in my name, but he was supposed to put them in his name. Well, it costs $300 down at the city to actually get the utilities put into his name. So he's like, hey, will you keep the utilities in your name, for like 2 or 3 weeks so that way I can get caught up? And I was like, okay, you know what, whatever, let's do it. I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to try to, help this guy out. So he moves in, 3-4 weeks go by. Hardly heard a thing out of him. He didn't make any payments. And I started calling him saying, hey, John, when are you going to catch up on rent? You're pushing, $900 to $1,000 behind. And, he would make up a story like, well, I can't say if he made up the story or not. It could have been true. But, hey, I didn't realize that child support was going to pull the money out already of my paycheck. And I thought I was going to be able to catch up. And then he called me, a week later, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go back to Kansas City. I'm going to drive Uber to try to catch up, on some of the bills. And it was just one story after another. Every single week, he's like, call me next week and I'll have the money. And it finally got to the point where I actually had to serve him with a letter, more or less, to say, hey, you've got to get out. And the hard thing is right now, you can't actually evict someone, depending upon where you are, I think. But where I'm at, you can't evict someone for non-payment of rent if they're having a COVID hardship. So I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm just like, usually I've had really good luck just working with tenants and trying to convince them to get out. So I told John, I'm like, hey man, like if you just move out, we will, figure out the money situation later. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't communicate. And that's when he went completely dark on me. He just stopped answering my texts, my calls. I'd call him like, every other day, leave him a voicemail, text him. And so I had to post a notice on his door saying, hey, he's got to get out, and still nothing. So I'm like, what in the world am I going to do? I've never had a situation like this. But long story short, he ended up just more or less camping out there. And then he just decided to up and leave, middle of the night, move. So I think he owes probably close to $2,000, but, shame on me for, I guess, trying to give him more of a break. And I actually posted about it on TikTok. I don't know if you guys followed me from TikTok, but, yeah, so he was just more or less left, and I will probably never see that money again. He claims, so he actually asked, hey, he's like, hey, Kyle, do you have Venmo? And I'm like, yeah, I have Venmo. He's like, well, download or, give me your name or whatever on there and I'll send you $600. Well, I never saw that money. So he still claims that he's going to get, the rent paid back to me. But I really doubt it. But thankfully, when he left the unit, he left it in really good shape. And I got the unit re-rented like the next day. So that was awesome. So, oh, you just never know. I've had a lot going on. That's why I haven't been posting a whole lot recently. I also had the worst cases of roaches I've ever had. It's embarrassing. I won't even film it because I've never seen something so bad before. This was in one of the mobile homes that I own that sits on someone else's park. And I have a manager that watches all those homes for me. So I don't know a whole lot that's going on over there. And, I should be doing more routine checkups, but this unit in particular, it's the worst home that I own. And I knew that these people in there were not very clean. They kept the outside really clean. It looked great, but the inside apparently, they did not. So my manager calls me up and says, hey, they moved out and there is roaches. He opened up the front door and saw roaches around the door and on the bottom, and he wouldn't even go in there. And so I was like, oh boy, well, I'll head on over there. So I went over, and again, I don't even think I filmed anything because I was like so embarrassed that it was that bad. I've never seen something that bad. So I didn't take any pictures of it. Kid you not, you open the door and roaches just fall from the ceiling, fall from around the door. It was just absolutely terrible. So we ended up bombing that place like 3 times. Shout out to my buddy Ryan. So when I say bomb, so you can go buy like these little canisters at Home Depot or Menards or whatever, and it's just like a spray bottle. You click it down and just like fumigates the whole room. So we did that 3 different times, and that still didn't hardly do anything. So then I bought a big jug. It's like a gallon spray of roach killer and just like doused the entire trailer. So that got the point where like I would say 80% of the roaches were dead. And then again, shout out to my buddy Ryan, who does a lot of work for me. He went in there with a couple of his guys and cleaned out the whole entire trailer with couch. There's couches, there's beds, there's clothes. The refrigerator was disgusting. And he sent me video. And I kid you not, like as he was cleaning, picking up the couch, there's roaches crawling all over him. And it was terrible. Yeah, Eric says, I heard a match and gasoline works for roaches too. Well, funny you say that, Eric, because this place is probably just going to get destroyed. We'll probably just burn it down. It's terrible. Actually, we'll most likely just sell it or almost give it away for free because it's just not worth anything. So, the adventures. I'm trying to think what else has been going on recently. I haven't been making videos again just because I've been so busy. I've been selling a lot as a realtor. I've got a couple multifamilies for sale right now. I just sold a car wash. I'm listing a residential house, I hope next week. So there's been a lot going on, but I'm going to try to start making videos again. And I'd also like to do more of these lives, and I'm still learning how this actually works. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the little update. I ordered a new coin operated washing machine. That's exciting for the 12 unit. So there's a little teeny laundry room in my 12 unit, and I collect, I don't know, $150 a month maybe off of that. Actually, no, it's not that high. It's probably like $90 a month. So I'm ordering new machines because one of them wasn't working right. So that's exciting. All kinds of things going on. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off of here, but hopefully I'll be making some more videos this week. So until then, we'll see you later.